he said his ex just needed closure. So I let them meet. And I sent her a copy of our lease. She texted back, "Oh, that's the kind of closure I needed. I'm a 35-year-old guy living in Austin, Texas. I've been working in IT for over a decade, and life's been pretty stable. About 2 years ago, I met this amazing woman, Sarah, at a friend's barbecue. She was smart, funny, and had this infectious energy that drew people in. We hit it off instantly. After dating for a year, we decided to move in together. Found a cozy apartment in the South Congress area, signed a lease, and started building a life together. Things were great, or so I thought. A few months into living together, Sarah started acting distant. She'd spend more time on her phone, often smiling at messages she wouldn't share. When I asked, she'd brush it off as work stuff or friends being silly. I trusted her, so I didn't push. Then came the late nights. She'd claimed to be working overtime or out with friends, but something felt off. One night, curiosity got the better of me, and I checked her phone while she was in the shower. What I found shattered me. There were messages from a guy named Mark. Flirty texts, plans to meet up, even photos. My heart sank. When I confronted her, she broke down, admitting that Mark was her ex from college. They'd reconnected recently, and she was confused about her feelings. She claimed nothing physical had happened, just emotional conversations. She said she needed closure with Mark to move on fully. I was hurt but still in love, so I agreed to let her meet him, on the condition that she was honest with me about everything. Sarah met Mark at a coffee shop downtown. She told me they talked, cleared the air, and that she realized she wanted to be with me. I wanted to believe her, so I did. But things didn't improve. She became more secretive, often stepping out to take calls or leaving the room when texting. My gut told me something was still wrong. I decided to dig deeper. I accessed our shared laptop and found her email open. There were messages between her and Mark, planning a weekend getaway to San Antonio. They'd booked a hotel and everything. I was furious. Not only had she lied, but she was planning to cheat on me again. I needed a plan, a way to expose her and get the closure I deserved. I waited until the day they were supposed to leave. Sarah told me she was going on a work retreat. I played along, wishing her a good trip. As soon as she left, I packed up my things and moved out. But I didn't stop there. I made copies of our lease agreement, highlighting the clause about unauthorized guests and subletting. I sent a copy to our landlord, explaining the situation. I also sent a copy to Mark, along with a note. Thought you should know who you're dealing with. Then I sent Sarah a text. Hope you and Mark enjoy the hotel. By the way, I moved out. The lease is now your problem. Sarah was furious. She called and texted nonstop, begging me to come back, saying it was a mistake. I ignored her. A few days later, I received a text from Mark. Oh. That's the kind of closure I needed. Apparently, he had no idea she was still in a relationship with me. He ended things with her immediately. Sarah was left alone, stuck with the lease and the consequences of her actions. It's been a few months since then. I've moved on, focusing on myself and my career. I learned a valuable lesson about trust and the importance of listening to your instincts. To anyone going through something similar, know your worth. And don't be afraid to walk away from someone who doesn't value you. I didn't reply to her texts. Not even the long ones where she said she made a mistake, or didn't think I'd actually leave. She tried calling from different numbers. Blocked. Then came the emails. She said Mark ghosted her after I sent him the lease. She called me spiteful. Said I ruined everything. I didn't feel bad. I actually felt calm for the first time in weeks. But here's where it started getting weird. One afternoon, I'm at my new place, just a small studio over on Burnett Road, nothing fancy, when I notice my car's tires look off. 2 of them, completely flat. I thought maybe I hit a nail or something. Called a tow, got it handled. Next day, I wake up to about 30 missed calls. All from a number I didn't know. A couple voicemails too. I listened to one. It was Mark. His voice was shaky, like he was pissed and scared at the same time. He said, "Dude, whatever drama you've got with Sarah, leave me out of it. She showed up at my job screaming. Told my coworkers I was stalking her. I almost lost my job." Then he hung up. I didn't even know where he worked. Turns out, she told him I was the one stalking her. That I forged the lease. That I was obsessed. And apparently, she really laid it on thick, crying, dramatic speeches, the whole show. I felt sick. She wasn't just lying to me or Mark anymore. She was trying to spin some story where I was the bad guy. And people were starting to believe her. A week later, I got a knock on my door. It was a cop. Apparently, Sarah filed a report. Said I'd been harassing her, sending threatening emails, following her to work. Luckily, I kept all the messages. Screenshots. The ones where she begged me to come back. The one where she admitted she lied about the work retreat. I showed the cop everything. He looked tired, like this wasn't his first crazy relationship case. He left, said there wasn't enough to press charges. But the damage was done. My landlord got nervous. Said they didn't want trouble. Gave me 60 days to vacate. Didn't matter that I wasn't the problem. They just didn't want drama. I felt like I was losing everything over a person I thought I knew. Then I got an email from her old roommate. Her name's Jenna. We'd met a few times before Sarah and I moved in together, but she always stayed out of our business. The email said, "Hey. I know things are a mess. Just wanted you to know you're not crazy. Sarah's done this before. She did it to her ex in Denver. Told people he abused her, made a huge scene at his job, ruined his rep. I didn't say anything earlier because I didn't want to get involved. But I thought you should know." She attached a screenshot of Sarah's old Facebook post from 2 years ago, one where she went on a rant about an abusive ex who ruined her life. Different guy. Different city. Same pattern. I reached out to the guy in the post. His name was Leo. We talked for over an hour. Everything he said matched what I was dealing with now. This wasn't about closure anymore. It wasn't even about Mark. This was about control. Sarah liked to burn things down when they didn't go her way. And now that I'd walked out without begging her back, she was lighting matches again. And I hadn't even seen the worst part yet. 2 weeks after talking to Leo, I started noticing strange things happening that felt too intentional to be random. First, my credit card got declined at HB. I checked my account. It had been maxed out. Charges I didn't recognize. Boutiques, spa appointments, wine deliveries. All made online. I froze the card and called the bank. They opened a fraud case. Said someone must have gotten hold of my info. Then I remembered, we shared that laptop. I'd logged into my bank from it more than once. I hadn't changed the passwords. I was stupid. I fixed that fast. Password manager, 2-step verification, the whole deal. But damage was done. Then the job stuff started. I work remote, right? But my company has a small office downtown. One day I get a Slack from HR. Apparently, someone sent an anonymous tip to the ethics department saying I'd been misusing client data. No details. Just a vague complaint. Luckily, I'm clean. IT checked the logs, saw nothing. But my boss still wanted a word. "You pissed someone off?" he asked. "Because this looks personal." I didn't even try to lie. Told him the truth, just the basics. He nodded like he'd seen it before. Told me to be careful. That night, I started thinking about how deep she could go. And that's when I realized she still had a key. She never gave it back. I drove straight to the studio, heart pounding. Nothing seemed touched. But my spare laptop was gone. The one I barely used. Also, a photo of my mom and I from years ago that I kept by the desk. Gone. That freaked me out more than the laptop. I changed the locks the next day. I didn't hear from her for a few days after that. Then I got a voicemail. She was crying. "You've ruined me," she said. "You turned Mark against me, got Jenna to betray me, and now everyone's calling me a psycho. What did I ever do to you that was so bad?" That message wasn't for guilt. It was bait. She wanted me to feel like I overreacted. Like I was the one who pushed her into acting out. But I didn't call back. Instead, I filed a restraining order. I had Jenna write a statement. Same with Leo. I sent in the screenshots, the voicemail, everything. It got approved. Sarah was legally barred from contacting me, showing up at my place, or trying to mess with my job. I felt relief, for maybe a week. Then I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. Just one sentence. "You think that paper stops me?" I knew it was her. The tone. The smugness. I didn't reply. But now I was really on edge. I started parking my car blocks away and walking. Took different routes to the grocery store. Started locking the deadbolt twice. Bought a camera for the front door. It wasn't about being scared. It was about not knowing what she'd try next. Then one night, really late, around 2 a.m., I got a ping from my security cam. Someone standing at my door. Hood up. Face mostly hidden. They knocked once. Then just stood there for 5 full minutes. Then they left. I didn't sleep at all that night. Next day, I checked the footage. The way they stood, the way they slightly tilted their head like they were listening, it felt familiar. I called the cops again, reported it. They couldn't do anything since no law was broken. I asked for patrol to pass by more often. They said they'd do what they could. A week passed. Then 2. Nothing. Just when I thought maybe it was finally quieting down, I got a certified letter at work. It was from a lawyer. Sarah was suing me. For emotional damages. She was claiming I'd humiliated her, caused her to lose her job, which I hadn't even known she lost, and led a coordinated attack to destroy her reputation. At first I laughed. It felt like a joke. But the suit was real. She was actually taking me to court. And she had screenshots, messages she had twisted out of context, even a couple photos I never remembered her taking, one where I looked like I was yelling, even though I was probably just mid-conversation. I hired a lawyer. He looked through everything. His face got more serious as he scrolled. "She's not trying to win," he said. "She's trying to drain you. Keep you wrapped up in this." It made sense. If she couldn't control me, she'd try to ruin me. Emotionally. Financially. Publicly. And I had no idea how far she'd go. My lawyer told me the court date would be a few months out. Until then, we needed to stay quiet and not poke the bear. But I couldn't just sit there waiting for her to throw more at me. I started doing what I should have done way earlier. I went full research mode. I dug into everything: public records, social media, forums. I remember Jenna said Sarah pulled something like this in Denver, so I looked into it more. Turns out, Sarah had a sealed court record in Colorado. I couldn't get the full case, but the docket numbers matched a restraining order filed against her. Same month Leo said things went south. That was a big piece. Then I checked LinkedIn. Found a post from a woman named Allison. She was Mark's ex before Sarah. Her page was private, but I could see one post from a mutual friend. It was a long rant about someone named S, who faked screenshots and made her lose a scholarship over lies. It was the same story. Different victim. I reached out to her. She didn't respond for 2 weeks. Then she emailed me. Short message. "I know what she does. Count me in if you go public." That was the moment I knew I had to expose her. Not just for me, but for everyone she hurt. I put together a folder. Dozens of pages. Screenshots, statements, voice messages, photos, even timestamps of when she was supposed to be with Mark but was sending me texts. I called Leo, Allison, Jenna. All of them gave permission to include their stories. I organized everything, formatted it neatly, and posted it online. Not Reddit. Not social media. I sent it to every HR email she'd ever worked for. LinkedIn told me where she'd been the past 5 years. I marked it confidential, sensitive, legal concern. I didn't accuse her of anything directly, I just laid out the facts. And I sent a copy to her lawyer. The silence afterward was heavy. Days passed. A week. I kept waiting for a blowback, another knock, another creepy text. But nothing. Then I got a call from my lawyer. "You're not gonna believe this," he said. Her lawyer dropped the case. Said she was uncooperative and refused to provide real evidence. I hung up, hands shaking. I had won. Not in court, but where it mattered. Then came the final twist. Mark called me. His voice was calm this time. "You were right," he said. "She's getting sued. One of her old co-workers pressed charges. She messed with the wrong guy this time. Company has deep pockets." He paused. "And she's leaving Austin. Packed up yesterday." I didn't say anything. I didn't need to. That weekend I drove past our old apartment. Lights off. Empty. For rent sign up. I stopped by, just to look. The same windows where we used to sit and talk, the same sidewalk where she once laughed about something dumb I said. It all felt distant. Like a story someone else lived. And then I got a letter. A plain envelope. No return address. Inside was the photo of me and my mom. The one that disappeared. On the back, in her handwriting. "You win. But you'll always wonder who you really were to me." I burned the letter. Because I already knew. I was the one who got out. And she? She was the one who lost everything by thinking no one would fight back. Never again.